have something to tell you. We have a family disease.
It makes you vulnerable to certain cravings.
I'm really excited to chat with you about the Radleys. I watched it yesterday, and it was such a fascinating, funny, dark take on the vampire subgenre. What was it about, the sort of, all those different elements that really captured your interest to want to be a part of it?
I thought, I mean, the writing was great. I kind of, all the scenes just sort of looked fun to play. It made me laugh. And I found the character of Helen just completely relatable. And I kind of, she's sort of heartbreaking as well. She's trying so hard. And out of everyone in the family, I think she fights the hardest to she doesn't give in to her urges that are constant and very intense when a certain person's around.
It really is fascinating sort of how this story acts as a parallel between sobriety and being a vampire. I love the way it plays with those themes. And so I'd love to hear, I mean, I don't want to get into spoilers per se, but I'd love to hear, this movie sort of really leaves the backstory of both of Damian's characters and yourself, as far as how long they've been around, open to interpretation. And I'd love to hear if you sort of spoke with the writers or the director about coming up with sort of a deeper backstory for where you all started in this world.
I think, it's based on a book, so the information is all in there, really, that they met when they were students. And he, she wasn't a vampire, but, he was from vampire stock. So that's where it began, before kids. And then when they decide to have a family, they try and do the best for them, as we all do. It's, you want to sort of be the best version of yourself. And to them, that means like abstaining.
So what is it like sort of capturing that like withdrawal type energy in a character, especially when you have to maintain that for a full film, essentially, like in the Radleys?
Well, it is, it's about addiction. And I think, Helen in particular uses different methods of distraction, really, for herself. I think, she's a member of all these clubs, and they're trying to fit in their community, and white picket fence, and she's just throwing everything at it, like trying so hard. And then that thing that happens, and I think a lot of people will relate to, where kids suddenly become teenagers, and there's like a total sea change within a household. And yeah, that kickstarts everything, basically. It's the teenagers that are to blame.
Indeed, they are, for how this movie starts to then become chaotic. And I'd love to hear, too, you talk about finding the story and the character relatable, and you yourself are a mother. And I'd love to hear sort of how much you pulled from your own experience as a parent, really going into this performance.
Oh, I don't know. I just am a mum. I don't think I necessarily would have to be a mum to play the part of Helen, but yeah, I find it, my kids are younger than the kids I'm mother to in the film, and yeah, it's a whole different kettle of fish, really.
I can imagine teenagers are definitely a lot more to handle than younger kids. I remember myself being at that age. So I'd love to then turn to working with Damian, since he plays two drastically different characters in this film. What was it like finding sort of the unique dynamics between Will and Helen, as well as Peter and Helen?
Yeah, no, that was just great fun, because of course, it's amazing for an actor to get to play two parts in one film. I think I had thought this is all going to be fun for Damian. I mean, hard work as well, because he had to do all the scenes like constantly running off to get changed after playing one version of himself. But it was a surprise actually how fun it was to work with the same actor and have completely different. Helen is in a loving but kind of estranged relationship with Peter in the film. They're not completely honest with the outside world or each other, and so she's sort of a bit distant to him. And then the brother arrives on the scene, and she absolutely can't stand him and can't be in the same room as him, and has very extreme feelings about him. And so that was just really fun because to play sort of the two different sort of aspects of that.
It really creates both some funny and some tense scenes, especially as we get to learn more, like I was mentioning earlier about the trio's history together. So what would you say then was sort of your big key for getting to the heart of Helen? You talk a lot about the relatability of her and everything, but what did you find was the big key for you in really capturing who this person was?
It's all about love with Helen. Like, she's doing it all for love. She became a vampire for love, and she's trying not to be a vampire for the love of, her children. Sorry, I've got a very squeaky dog sitting next to me. I don't know if you can hear him.
All good.
So it's just about she's very fragile. She's like very stoic and works harder than anyone to sort of to ignore her instincts and urges. But it's all about how much she loves her family.
So in talking about that love, then I'd also love to hear what it was like, working with the younger actors in this film and sort of finding that love and that care for that Helen has for them during production of this.
Well, that was just really easy. They're the young actors that played our kids. As soon as they walked into the room and when we all met, I just was so. I don't know. I was so pleased. I was so pleased to meet them and that they were so cool, and slightly disheartened that they were meant to be my children. Because they're young adults, and my actual kids are younger, but I absolutely could be mother to those kids. But they just were nice people to hang out with. It makes all the difference in the world when you're sort of stuck in very enclosed, sort of tight spaces with people. So yeah, we had a lot of fun, and there was like a kids, like not kids, but like me and Damian shared a kind of green room in the house that we were filming in. We were there for a good number of weeks, and the kids were in the room next door, and they would come in and steal our snacks, but we had the tea making facilities, like the kettle and everything. So we all had our little functions.
I love that, though. That sounds like it sounds like you built your own family within the set of the film, and that's always a rewarding experience. So what is one of the big things that you really look forward to audiences getting to take away from this film?
I hope they find it funny. I think it's funny. I think it's kind of sexy. I'm pleased with it. I'm not always sort of, I don't know, happy to watch anything that I'm in. And I was aware while I had been sent a link to it, and I sat down and thought, I'm gonna, because it's so easy to just sort of pretend that you've watched something and go, yeah, it's great, which I have to. But I was just delighted. It's kind of, Eros is a great director, and he makes very compelling films, and I don't know, I think it'll appeal to different generations as well.
I do love that there's something for everybody in this film, not just horror genre fans like myself, but everybody. So I can't wait to get the word out and have people see it. I see I'm coming close on time, so I did also want to ask really quickly. I mean, Princess Merida remains one of my favorite Disney princesses, and I know she's technically Pixar, but nonetheless. And I'm curious, have you ever? I know you came back for the Wreck-It Ralph sequel, but have you ever had thoughts about the possibility of a sequel to Brave, or even maybe a live action remake at some point?
Oh, I wouldn't get anywhere near a live action remake. I'm far too old. But yeah, it was an amazing thing to be part of, and I'm one of a very short list of Disney princesses on it, and that's kind of cool. And if my younger self had heard about that, I don't know what she'd have thought. But yeah, I don't know about sequels or anything. That hadn't occurred to me. This one, actually, the Radleys, it struck me when I watched it that it's sort of that would be an interesting sequel to watch. I think there's something there, but I don't know if anybody's. We'll see how it goes anyway.
I would love to see a sequel to the Radleys. The way it ends in particular.
You know what? I'm just saying it because I just want to get some teeth. I didn't get teeth this time around. So.
I know. I did notice you missed out on getting some vampire fangs. So hopefully, if there's a next time around, you can get them, because I would be curious to see how Helen reacts to being full vampire power. Yeah, I can't. But again, I can't wait to get the word out about this film. I loved it. I think people are going to love it as well. So Kelly, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me. I do greatly appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being so enthusiastic.
When he bit me, I lost all self-control.
You're blushing.
No, I'm not.